right, guys, here we are, the Let's Chop It Up Food Podcast. As we begin our journey, guys, in the depths of the Orange County restaurant scene, it is an honor to start our journey with a chef, a pioneer, a mentor in Orange County and beyond, Chef Pascal Olhats. Thank you, Chef, for joining us here today.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm just, I always love to share my stories and other chef stories. So today is a day. Thank you.
Go for it, Chris. Please tell me what your thoughts about Chef Pascal really quick. I definitely want to hear that.
Be nice.
Only but nice.
Yes.
Well, definitely. I mean, here we are. I remember Chef Pascal back then. I used to read about you in magazines, newspaper articles. And there I was, 2011, cooking Celebrity Chef Challenge Chocolate the event. And you were the judge.
Yes.
And I remember when there's pictures out there where I'm cooking and you're just watching, you're observing, you're holding your glasses and watching what I was plating. And I remember 2012 was round 2, Celebrity Chef Challenge in OC Fairgrounds. And I remember that time I was 25, 26 years old. I didn't have a job because of all these tattoos. It wasn't cool yet. And it was very hard for me. And I had my son at the time and I was going through, some hard time just trying to get back into the fine dining scene. Nobody wanted to hire me. And I remember releasing that course. I think it was the main course. And you turned around and you said, hey, you pulled on my chef jacket. You said, hey, where are you working now? And I said, I don't have a job. I'm here. Hopefully this can land me a job. And there you wrote down your phone number on a card and you said, hey, I need an executive chef at Savannah Chop House. 2012, Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Well, this is what happened. Your life changed when there's an opportunity. And I saw something in you. I say, well, maybe he's not totally trained yet. Maybe he's a little edgy. But I did like that about you because, at that restaurant at that time, we needed a little boost or something, a new energy. And you had it. And that was the second time I was judging your food and I said, that's a sign, it came across twice, And so I said, hey, timing's great, let's give him a chance. And I did. And you did fantastic. And it was a little challenging for you at first because, it was a big restaurant, but I was behind you to make sure if you need any help, I was there, and you did right.
That's amazing.
I'm
awesome.
Speechless. Thank you. This is the first time we ever sat down and really spoke about this, on this level. It brings tears to my eyes. For real.
You always thanks me, and I really appreciate that because you were happy to get a job. I remember you telling me you had some trouble in your life, something like that. Say, hey, maybe this guy needs some stability,
Yeah.
And once you get the stability, you explode in the food, and you went crazy. And then after that, you start doing the marketing, and yes, you still a little edgy, but that's your style, And your food is edgy, but it's tasty, it's beautiful, and people love you as much as they love your food. But all this is wrapped into your passion. I would never hire you if I didn't see any passion. I never keep somebody around me without passion, because passion is the key.
Well, thank you, Chef. Look, I'm crying on this episode. This is a big deal. None of this would have happened. Just remember this. None of us would be here today if that day, if I would have never showed up to that chef competition, because I almost didn't show up. I didn't have enough money to put in the gas. I was coming from Barstow. I was living in Barstow at the time.
Wow.
I didn't have a job. They wanted to hire me in Orange County, and I barely made enough money for gas to make it to that competition. Wow. I remember I slept at my friend's house on the floor in his living room just to show up to that competition. So I almost didn't make it. None of this would have been happening, guys. Yeah, and then let's let's. I just remember Golden Foodie Awards, red carpet that year. 3 months into Savannah Chop House, we're on the red carpet, nominated Best American Cuisine, Best Desserts,
Yeah.
Best Steak in Orange County. I mean, we went to town. We were on the front cover of Great Taste magazine, Dining Out magazine. Here at Orange County Register, and I was with you throughout all this. We're at OC Weekly, do a highlight on the
I
red
didn't
carpet.
do anything for that. You did it.
We did it together. But today's episode is on mentorship,
Yeah.
and if I would have never had that opportunity, none of this would have been happening. None of these Food Network shows that I was on inspiring people. So I want to talk about the chain reaction, what happened, you giving me an opportunity, and the other chefs you gave an opportunity, and they took it and ran with it.
Yeah.
So this I know the culinary field has changed dramatically since. We're going to get into this depth. You looked at chef's history. I looked at chef's history. Like, it's very different now, right?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely there's a different scene nowadays, but I think when we go back to the traditions of the restaurant industry, and I mean, I have to mention this, chef. I mean, you trained under Chef Paul Bocuse, who has a lineage of chefs under him in France and beyond. And now, chef, you took that and you've created that in Orange County, which I
Yeah.
think is it's just
But
really amazing.
I have to say, becoming a chef is not an overnight thing. And you can also go to culinary school, and I really encourage any cooks or passionate in food who want to become a chef. Go to culinary school, but go to restaurant as well at the same time, because you don't learn how to be a chef at school. You learn how to be a cook and learn about management. But really, the place to learn to be a chef is to be in actual kitchen, and you need to learn it the hard way. You're going to have some bad days. You're going to have days you're going to throw down your knife bag and say, "I'm done with it." But you breathe in. If you have the passion for it, you come back, and then you add something new every day, and then you see your progress, and it's very important. And I learned a lot from Chef Paul Bocuse. I was not a chef at Paul Bocuse. I worked actually in a dining room, and he hired me. But I worked before in the kitchen, but I also went to culinary school in Brussels, in Belgium. So I had that package, and he hired me because probably he saw something in me. And I spent so much time in the kitchen with the cooks and the chef that I could repeat every dish that was on the menu, just by looking, by smelling, by asking questions. And but I do believe my passion for food, was there already. And when you mentor somebody, you need to follow that chef or cooks, even if he's not a chef yet. If it's one of my cooks who become a chef, you have to follow them like your family, and then see what they become. Help them to find a new job, and then give them some direction, because they cannot do it alone. I could not do it alone. So you need that support, and then you can see the changes, the result, and Chris, you have that passion,
Thank you.
and maybe too much sometimes. Man,
Yes.
but it's beautiful because you promote yourself and you want people to know about you, and then we become part of a community. And this is why I always wanted to do. When I came in first in Orange County, there was not much relationship between chefs. There was not much relationship between restaurants, and everybody was doing his own little thing, and there was no growth. And Orange County was known to be a non-foodie place, and then slowly it became a foodie place, and slowly it became a food destination. and now it become more and more a food destination. We have Michelin star restaurant. We have a chef that went on competition on TV, and there's energy, and but we still love each other because I wanted to build up that community, and the relationship we have with each other is amazing, and we don't we don't say any bad thing about each other. Even if we see something is wrong, we just embrace and then give more encouragement. If I see a restaurant is going the wrong direction, there's always a way to say, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you do that? And then let me help you to communicate with a local food writer. Maybe somebody can help you to boost your business. It costs me nothing to do that, and it works.
I truly strongly believe that back then it was almost like chefs were in competition with the restaurant next door to them, and they used to not talk.
Yeah.
I remember being at the Taste of Newport Beach or Laguna Beach, and the chefs would come in. They were very big egos.
Mm-hmm.
These days, I think, Pascal, with a lot of what you did with the Orange County community, you brought a lot of these chefs together, started sharing marketing ideas, the next secret to success, and even with these upcoming chefs. I mean, you have chefs like Greg Daniels that actually worked with you, right?
Yeah.
His biggest success was Haven Gastropub, right, in Orange, and you have other big names. That you
Even
work
when
with.
he told me, Chef, oh, I'm sorry to say, but I give you 2 months notice. I'm going to open my own restaurant.
Wow.
I said, are you sure? Are you ready for it? And oh yeah. No, we have a partner. We're going to do this and that. There'll be a restaurant slash pub, that. I said, okay, and embrace it. And then I went and visit the restaurant, and I said, wow, the guy is doing good. And then he exploded. He became so passionate, and passion is it's not only for yourself. Passion is to share with your team, servers and kitchen, but also your passion is to share on the plate and goes to your customers, and the customers feel it. They feel your passion. If you cook with no passion, you it became just a restaurant, just a food place, but people like to know there's somebody behind the food, and if you, I always when I had a restaurant, I always go out of the kitchen because I want to meet my customers. I want to meet my guests. I want to make sure they're happy. Because what do? We're just cooking is boring. You come, you have long days, and then you go home, and that's it. No, you meet people, you meet your guests, and your first goal is not only to cook, is to make people happy. So if you make your guests happy, they come back. And but you don't make them happy at once. You have to make them happy each time they come. It's very important.
Yeah, we made a joke on the food trucks. I'm only as good as my last taco, right? Because you have to make them happy all the time. The food can be great, but if you have a bad experience, a server's not feeling so good that day, they rub it off the wrong way, or they don't correct something that's because there's always problems in the restaurant. Like
You can always fix it.
you can always fix it, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I learned about problems in a restaurant is that's an opportunity to get to know your guests.
Actually, my favorite guest, no, I don't want to say it too loud. My favorite guest is the most difficult guest. If a guest give me a challenge, I'm up to the challenge.
Wow.
Wow.
And
I love that.
yeah, because some guests are very demanding, and if you shut down right away, you lose that guest. But if you please that guest with demanding, you have a friend forever. And then you come back, you know what he wants. Oh, Chef Pascal, give me my favorite dish. I said, yeah, no problem. I know what you like. And that guy is happy. You will never lose that customer.
Yeah, I remember there was a time where we had a difficult guest at one of the restaurants I worked at, and the guest at the end of the day, she just wanted her steak cooked perfectly, and I told her, I said, listen, every time you come, have call me, let me know that you're here. I will make you the steak personally, and she was there every, I think it was every Monday.
Wow.
She would come every Monday to the restaurant, get her steak. So that created a great relationship, because
Yeah.
of, like you're saying, going out to her or the guests and please trying to please them, make them
And
happy.
if you can pass this on to your front staff, your servers, they'll remember, oh, chef, there's that customer that like that steak. She's here. Make sure the servers are not carrying plate. Servers are the best communication between the guests and the kitchen. And you have to let them know that they are part of the communication and they're part of the success of the restaurant. It's very important. They recognize the guest and the guest needs.
That is very true.
Chef,
Uh,
as you're talking about like the restaurant experience and everything that you've learned in your restaurant experience, who are your mentors that taught you? Because what Chef Chris was saying about, there's a lot of competition in the restaurant industry. Sometimes there's chefs where they're like, I'm the executive chef, and if I teach other people what I know, they're gonna take my job. But I don't feel that
No.
is in you at all. You are about building people up. So please.
You cannot succeed alone. Right? So it's like a football team or a basketball team. You have to build up good players around you. You know? You may be the best one shooting at the basket, but somebody needs to give you the ball. And at the right place at the right time. Right place at the right time. So boom, ball, shoot. No. You, you can see if the guy run from one goal to another one by himself, he's not going to make it if he's alone. So, so the mentor, I learned a lot from Paul Bocuse. He was the first chef that really make the point to go out of the kitchen. He was the first chef. He was tough with himself, but tough with the kitchen and demanding. And we cool off a little bit since that. But you have to be ready to feel the push, to feel the demand from the chef. Yeah, it's going to be hard on you. Yes, but how do you succeed if nobody tell you when you do something wrong? So you have to be able to listen, and then when you hear this, you remember forever, and then you cook without thinking that you had that behind you or somebody's watching. You just know how to do it. And I learned a lot also when I work in Saint-Tropez, and the very famous beach restaurant. And I was in charge of the staff, and I was in charge of all the celebrities. And, very complex. Celebrity from all over the world, movie star, singers, movie maker. And my goal was to please all of them. And I even got an offer to go into a movie because as a server, because they liked the way I was interacting, And so you have all these opportunity, And also, talking about that, I will tell the cooks who want to be chef to not call themselves chef right away, because they need to go one step at a time. Let's learn from the bottom. Let's learn how to be a good dishwasher, because if you're a good dishwasher yourself, you can teach your dishwasher to be a good one. And then let's learn how to maybe do some pastries. Try to find a way to go to a place where you can learn pastry, because once you're on your own, have your own restaurant, you say, "Oh, I'm missing something," and you will show in your food or on your menu something is missing, and then don't call yourself right away. I always say there's chef that can cook, but there's chef that can be chef. But you need to be both. You can direct a troop, but if you don't know how to use your munitions, you're not going to win the battles. So it's very important that you need to pay your dues, and it takes time, but suddenly, bam, you're ready to open a restaurant. But don't call yourself chef right away, and we will call you chef.
Yeah, these days, and going into mentorship, these days Instagram, there's a lot of these upcoming chefs. I want to say, because one day they're going to be a chef, but they're on their Instagram handle. It already says Chef so and so, Chef Tony, Chef Antonio, Chef. I don't think they ever worked a dishwasher machine before, or even know how to. I call it the OMGs, right? The oh shits, where it's like, hey, the dishwasher doesn't show up. Hey, the cook didn't show up. There's the season change. They don't have any strawberries this time, or whatever it is. That's where you really know how to navigate in the kitchen and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And the increase in sales, that's where, when going back to these young chefs, like, what do you feel about that, what's going on in this industry? How a lot of them...
A good example, they need to watch the show The Bear. When you see how difficult it is to open your restaurant, you just don't buy food, cook the food, write a menu. No, you have to deal with the fire department. You have to deal with the gas company. You have to deal with anybody who is going to help you, the contractors, and you have to know how to pay your bills, and how to deal with your staff. And then there's a cooking part, which is actually the more recreational part of it, because this is where you express your talent, your art, something like that. And then sometimes, the client may reject your food, and then you have to learn how to fix it. So, yeah, that's why you have to learn all these layers of business, before you become a chef and a chef owners. It's very important. But it's all about getting experience, and don't be... And yeah, you talk about Instagram. When I first opened my first restaurant here in 1988, we had no internet. So marketing was just our own marketing. You have to do yourself.
The board outside where you write your special.
You write the special. When you want to promote something, you have to write or type the letter. You have to stamp it and mail it.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. That's the way it was.
That is, nobody understands that.
Yeah.
See, this talk is like the talk where where the dad tells the son, I used to walk 7 miles in the snow to school. But this is real, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that?
Yeah.
You used to have to stamp the letter
Yeah.
and send it out.
And then we had a little card. The customer said, if you want to know about the next event, just give us your address and your phone number. No, they didn't even have email yet. No
cell phones.
No,
This is...
it's crazy. So, and then things get easier, and then you build up a email list. And email list change the whole thing, but you need to know how to use it. Don't bombard your customers with email all the time. Just send them the right message at the right time, and then now you have Facebook, you have all these platform you can use, and you know how to use it.
He's very talented
every
on
platform,
the social media game, Chef Chris.
we're going to get to that at one point.
But still, you do that, but still when you're on your food truck, I see you talking to the guests at the window.
Yes.
And this is the best marketing.
And Jason's really good at that too.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to that. I mean, what do you think, Jason? The best marketing, talking to your guests.
I mean, and you know what? I don't necessarily see it as like marketing when I'm doing it. I really want to reach out to my guests. I really want to offer my guests the best restaurant experience, and it's because guests they work hard for their money, and when they come to decide to eat on my truck, on my in my business, in my restaurant, wherever I'm at, I want to offer them that experience that they're paying for, because, like I said, they're working hard for it. So we want to and have that relationship.
Hmm.
You talked about having a relationship with your guests. I think it's extremely important to have that.
Yeah, you can make it even more special. Say, hey, have you ever tried that one? Have you tried that dish? Try it. And then they're going to say, oh, wow, the guy wants to make sure I know what is he think is the best for me today. But talking about this, I'll, we need to talk about consistency.
Oh yes.
A guest come to your window or come to your restaurant, he love his dish, and he's going to come back because they love it. Make sure when they come back, it is the same because you remember the taste of it. It's very important, and you go back to the restaurant because you have an expectation. Yeah, it's in you. You already taste it before you walk into the restaurant, and then you're very disappointed. You know, so you won't go back. So consistency is key, and you do have to be consistent on fine dining or just extremely fancy food. You know, if even if you do family type of meals, that, as long as you're good, but it be good all the time, and don't change it. Don't make too many changes on your menu. Suddenly, say, "Oh, I'm bored with this menu. I'm sure the customers are bored too. Let's change it." You know what? Sometimes the customer come back for one dish, and you're going to take that dish away. So be careful when you make changes on your menu. Very important. Yeah.
Chef,
Consistency.
I
Chef,
agree. I agree. The menu's hard. The menu, being a chef, it's hard. But go ahead.
no, I wanted to touch on consistency because when you talk about consistency, I know that when I cook and I make it, I'm able to be consistent. But when you're running a full restaurant and you can't obviously be on every station, but you want that salad to be the same every time. How, as a chef, have you learned how to impart that passion and consistency to your cooks?
I used to be more cool about it. Now I'm more demanding. If I see something is done wrong, I reject it. If you say, "Oh, it's going to be fine," no, it's not fine. Got to, you have to teach your cooks to be consistent themselves, and say, "Hey, it's okay, but it's not the way we did it last time." And without yelling, without being mad, just hey, the customer came back for this. Give him what he expects, and but also consistency. It's not only just cooking or put food on the plate. It's about the season. You know, uh, if you gain customer because you during the heirloom tomato season, you make a beautiful salad. Don't try to do it in winter. Just do it when it's at its peak. You know? And there, people say, "Oh, wow, where's uh, where's the tomato salad that I had last August?" Well, it's not in season right now, so we had to uh, to take care of the menu. But what's in season right now? We have beautiful zucchini, beautiful squashes. Now, why don't you try it? I got it from the farmers market, and you will love it. And that's very important to follow all these rules.
Yeah, that is the key. Like you're not trying to force yourself on the menu. You're letting the menu do its thing.
Go with the season. Go with the, uh, and also it's more exciting because this is this is when you change the menu because you have new ingredients coming up, and believe me, it does work.
Okay. And then, chef. So with there's seasonal ideas that you add to your menu, and then what about trends? I mean, obviously you've been doing this. How I don't.
I used to brag. I used to say, I create the trend, and try to do that.
I love it.
I love it. Say
Why-
that again, right?
Yeah. Why do you want to follow a trend? Because trends are going to put you in a spot. They are going to compare your food to everybody else that do the same thing. You know, it's okay. You have a special pair of shoes because maybe it's trendy. But if you see everybody with same shoes around you, you don't feel like you have special shoes. So keep your own soul into the food. Keep your and you have a special taste. You have a gift for food. We Our chef who succeed, we succeed because we have a gift. Either we got it from we born with it, or we got it from our parents, our mothers that teach you how to cook, and let's be yourself. Use your own soul. And if you put your soul in your food, that's a win-win.
Wow, that really hits home, and like you said earlier, my style is very edgy. You could tell on my plating. I use the wood boards. I burn the boards. But when you see the food, it's very finesse. The colored tortillas when I use the tacos, Mexican cuisine infused with a little bit of French techniques, American cuisine, and we do all of this version. And a lot of chefs, yes, I see these days, either they're trying to copy a trend, or the ones that are trying to do their own thing. They're very edgy, and they're actually successful with it, which I'm seeing. And what I noticed in this industry, being more simple takes you farther.
It is. Simplicity is not easy, to say simple. Complexity is complicated. A mix, too many ingredients on a plate, too many, like molecular cuisine. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's special. To eat something that pop in your mouth, it's fine. But it's just fun. It's like playing with food. I don't like to play with food. I like to make food that look beautiful. I like food that tastes good, and I like food that I will eat every day because it's just simply good. And so that's why train. It's a little. You have to be careful when you train. And your style of food, I always tell Anna, I will remember. Do you? What I don't know if I can share that, but you can cut it off if you
No,
want
go
to.
ahead, go ahead. We're in the podcast. Everything goes.
You told me once you were in trouble in the street because you were tagging.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
and tagging is an art.
Yeah.
Tagging is an expression that you want to share something with others publicly, not just one on one, in public. And if you see a tag and you watch, because people are walking by, to say, "Oh, look at that," and then, but you get in trouble with that. But I always say, Chris, that's what you do with your food. You tag on the plate.
Yeah.
and,
Definitely.
and you are the same guy, the same artist. And you put all this color. I see you with all the little bottle and blah 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 blah, and a little bang bang bang. Say,
I love
hey,
it.
That's you tag the food on the plate, and this is who you are. You are the artist.
It's definitely an art form of an expression of being the chef inside of me.
Yeah.
Just I want the colors to pop. It reminds me when I used to tag on walls, when I used to I had my black book, all these pastels that I would use, all these different spray cans, combining the art and everything, and it would come
A little
out
bit
something
of this,
beautiful.
a little bit of that.
Yeah,
And then, you know,
it was great.
little bling bling, boom.
And then the food truck. And going back to what I'm doing now with Taste Collector. I mean, the whole truck is all graffitied out. I use a lot of the stuff I grew up with now infused of what I do today. They say, I remember I had one mentor in this marketing that I had back then. He said, in order to live your life that you want today, you got to change it and live it 20 years. In 20 years. So that time I was into graffiti, hip hop culture, and doing all this. But when I changed my life and I really started going into being more responsible, being a father, being the chef, a lot of sacrifices. There was no weekends. I wanted to be the party guy.
And your father, part of your life has not been easy.
Yeah. It was hard, but here I am 20 years later. Now I get to live that lifestyle that I wanted back then. Being that fun stuff, but now more responsible, of course.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, being a chef is very hard. That's why when I hear about when everybody calls themselves a chef these days, it's like, and they don't work weekends, or they don't work the nights or long days. It's like, being that name chef. Mm-hmm. It's like, did you pay your dues? That's what we were talking about earlier. Yeah. It's like some people didn't pay their dues, and
also the responsibility to be the leader of your kitchen, and the people around you are going to see how hard you work.
Yes.
If you spend the whole day sitting in the office, and say, well, where's the chef? Oh, it's in the office and it's on the phone. Well, it's okay. It's still a chef, but for me, a chef that don't cook, doesn't have to cook all the time. A chef that don't cook is not really a chef. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is.
Chef, can I ask you? That. Can I ask you? You met Chef Chris. You met Chef Chris in 2012. And did you want to repeat that quote again? I'm sorry about that, Chris.
Oh, wait, no, go ahead. I loved it. I love it. I think he got. I just pointed at Brandon. Make sure you get that part. So 2011, I met Chef Pascal. I was running 195 downtown Anaheim. It was a nightclub and restaurant.
Okay.
So we took that. I was very smart. I've always been very smart. That's when those guys said, let's get an edgy chef, plug him in. I was already in the fine dining scene from the Beach House. So I started getting tattooed, and I just wanted to live my life because I was already in a nightclub scene and restaurant. It was acceptable. And then they created my Facebook, my Instagram. I didn't know what that was. They put me in the chef competition 2011 at Chocolate the Event, and there was Chef Pascal. I didn't even know what was going on. I made the chocolate mole, with the pistachio encrusted flat iron steak with the Yukon Gold garlic mashed potatoes, and you loved it. And you said I had to use chocolate in my dish, and I made the chocolate mole, an entree, and that's where I met Chef. And then I remember my sous chef at the time. He's like, "You should be in touch with Chef Pascal. Do you know who he is?" I know who he is, but when you see a big name like such as Pascal or anybody else, you get intimidated by it because it's almost like Guy Fieri or seeing these big names like, "Oh, that guy would never talk to me." But Pascal, the next year, 2012, when Pascal said, "Hey, I would like to do something with you," and I needed the job at the time, there was Chef Pascal, open heart. I wish more chefs were like that these days. That's why I think it's very important. When
I'm still there.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I'm just one of many of Chef Pascal, I want to say, put out there in the scene. And Chef Pascal shared his public relations, shared his secrets, shared his circle with other people. I mean, it's amazing how many lives you've changed doing this. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure after when we're done with this interview, you're going to be calling Messi Burger. You're going to call Jason after this and say, "Hey, Jason, we need a food truck for this event." But that's how this community works. That you created a community, Chef. And it's amazing.
And I'm still doing it, and I'm so proud when my cooks grow and succeed, and that's why I want them to succeed, because you know what, they're going to use my name, and also, so we all together, and we will never be separated. We have that relationship, and then And this is why we create a community. This is why we do these charity events. We're so happy to be together. There's no competition, And I have to say, when I saw you at the second competition you did, say, well, that guy has so much passion. I need to give him a chance. And I said, can you do it? You say yes, and then we brought you to that big corporate meeting, and then I'm sure you were shaking because you have all the owners, the CEO of the company, and we say, can you do it? I said, yes, chef. Boom, that was it.
I remember we parked the car at Balboa Desserts, and I said, I guess I'm ready to walk into this meeting. And I walk into Balboa Desserts. There's a big lion in the front, a big display. I walk upstairs. There's Chef Pascal. Pascal, I remember you looking me dead in the eyes. You said, "Are you ready for this?" I said, "Yes. I need this opportunity. I want to showcase my work."
Yeah.
I was already on YouTube doing YouTube videos at this time, and I remember walking in. Rudy Pollack was their CEO. There was Giuseppe. Everybody was in this meeting, part of the Savannah Chop House, and I've always heard nothing but great things. And there you are, Chef Pascal, the guy that I read about in magazines, saying, "Hey, we're about to do this and team up together." And next thing you know, I'm signed to Savannah Chop House. Now, I'm gonna get into that real quick. When you brought me on board, the whole thing was to create a new menu, and we wrote a menu together. We did an 80% increase in sales after a recession. Now, I repeat that, 80% increase in sales after a recession, which is unheard of in a fine dining restaurant. And we actually took this menu. We couldn't go over $2.55, a perfect 10 menu, and we sold it. And the place went to 300 reservations in one day. And there I was. When I got hired on, we're supposed to fire 2 cooks, and I was supposed to work on one side of the line. Manny was supposed to work on the other side of the line, and Pascal was supposed to overlook it. But Pascal said, "You don't fire anybody. We're gonna need more people. Watch." The wine dinners were sold out. Cooking classes sold out. Manny ended up having to take my job, and I had to go into catering. It was insane what Pascal did. And at that time, and I want to say, I really love this part about this memory about 2012, 2013 was where there was Savannah Chop House and French 75. And at this time, it wasn't just me that was 25, 26 years old. There was Greg Morrow that was 25, 26 years old, the executive chef of French 75, that you were doing these 2 restaurants. And, Greg Morrow was just like me. He won the Golden Foodie Award, Best French Cuisine that year. And
I met Greg Moore.
He cooked for you, right? Or he cooked with you?
He was a server. He won a local, very good Italian restaurant in Tzorin. And he came to my table because he knew about me. He said, "Chef, I need some advice. I would love to become a chef." Well, you don't become a chef overnight. So what should I do? Why don't you go to a culinary school? And he went to the culinary school in San Francisco. And then he came back 2 years later. He said, "Chef, I've done my school, I have my degree." "Okay, I give you a job." And then he starts working for me. And then until he learned, on the top of what he learned at school, he learned from me as well. And then same like you, say, "Hey, one day we need a chef at French 75. Say, "Well, great, are you ready?" "No, I have a position for you." And bam, he did it. And he went crazy. You could see the guy opening up and being radius of passion and things like that, and over passion even, which is fine, And he wrote menus. He created this purple puree with purple cauliflower, things like that, purple sauce. He had his own thing.
He has style. Great.
Yeah,
Chef
he had
Greg.
his own style. Yeah, and he made it. Unfortunately, he ends up in the sad situation. But I was so happy that knowing him as a server, going with me, and then becoming executive chef, is for me is priceless. and that's the way I do it. And I'm still these days. I have cooks that work for me that become catering chef and now corporate chef, something like that. And it's all about helping each other and sharing. You got to share. If you know something, it's very important you share your cuisine. And if you share, somebody else will share with you. And
I agree. I agree with the food truck industry. It was very hard for me when I got into the. I love the food truck. I love the restaurant, but it was something new for me where I just fell in love with it. I'm in front of people. I'm a very shy guy, but no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But the food truck, I'm out there, I'm doing my thing. It was very hard for me because nobody shares in that community until I want to say up until I think after COVID, people started sharing. That's how me and Jason, he owns Messy Burger, and he started, hey, Chef Chris, I need a cover this day. Can you cover me? I have another catering. Or hey, Chris, I need a day off. Can you cover my shift? Oh, of course. And that's how we started sharing. I mean, do you want to touch base on sharing, even on that?
Well, I'm not like as far as like food is concerned, like as far as I'm not a competitive person. There's so much work out there. There's so many opportunities out there. So anytime I have an opportunity to give to the community, I just want to give, not because I'm going to get anything back. It's because I want our community to grow. So I want to offer opportunities always if I can have that opportunity. So that's how me and Chris met, and and just like you've offered many chefs opportunities. You saw something in them that they took that to the next level. So I'm curious to know, Chef, what is it that you saw in Chris? Because you tasted his food, but and then you also talked about his passion. But what is it that you saw in Chris and the other chefs that you knew that they were gonna? I mean, that was a big chance for Savannah Chop House. So
well,
I'm curious, what was that thought process?
I need good energy. I need a food that have high notes, good flavors, and that's what it does. Yes, his food always tastes good, and also even that he with his edginess, or you think, oh, he want to do only his own thing. He was listening. If you don't listen to other people or other chef, you don't grow. You learn from others. It's very important. And he was really open to that. And then so you let it run after that. You let it say, hey, you're on your own. Show me what you can do. And he liked that. And his food tastes great.
Thank you so much.
Right.
It tastes great then. It tastes great now. And I don't know if it's any better because it was already good.
I love it.
But you have a gift of colors on the plate. You have a gift of flavors on the plate, and I don't know if you learn it from your family or from your origins and things like that. But and and you don't mind to have different type of cuisine, on your menu. No, you don't want to be stuck with one cuisine. That's very important. And you have a gift. And
Thank you.
us that succeed because we have a gift, or we have to recognize we have a gift. And that gift come, maybe we're born with it, or maybe our parents give it to us, or give us the passion to eat well, give us the passion to sit down on the table with friends at home, and they come in. I remember at home, we were going to have a normal dinner. Somebody knock at the door, say, "Hey, we just want to say hi, maybe have a little aperitif." Well, that aperitif lasts 4 or 5 hours because my mother was putting food, dish after dish together, not even planned, you know. And that's the spontaneity of cooking for others, and you have a moment. You create the moment because it's fun. People are having a good time and good food, and your mothers, anybody's mothers, may not be the greatest cook, but you always remember what she cooked, and when you go back home, you want that same food. See what I mean? So it's the same in the business. You know, you go there back and you go see your mother and you have expectation to say, hey, even last night I sauteed some potatoes, very simple, olive oil, a little garlic at the end and parsley, and that's what my mother used to do. Huh? And when I cook it and eat it, it put me back 50 years back. You know?
Lyonnaise potatoes, huh?
That's-
Very,
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
amazing.
Yeah, I know. So that's it's not a great dish, but your your memory and actually your brain remember the flavors. And when I walk in a restaurant or in a kitchen, I want to smell something. I don't want to smell refrigerated food or frozen food or fish getting bad. I want to smell something good, and when I go back the next time, I want to have the same smell. If I go to an Italian restaurant and when I walk in, I want to smell Italian food because it's the mix of the prosciutto and the parmesan, and the garlic is in the air. And if you don't smell that, I don't know. I'm not sure the food is going to be great.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's very important.
I love it. Well, we got a lot out of this episode.
Definitely, chef. I want to know, and I want to talk more real quick about you and what are the organizations that you're part
Yeah.
of. Tell us about your coffee. Tell us everything that you're doing right now as we begin to wrap up
Well,
this
I
episode.
have to say, we are a great community and we do great charity. And we have one backbone person, is Christine Martin. She really put us together. Because it's not easy to organize big events, with 35, 40 chefs,
With chefs, of course.
Yeah.
Chef
It's hard to-
personalities. Yeah, you're not gonna.
It's
that's
hard.
tough.
It's hard to organize a dinner of 6.
I know. And yes, we love to do it because we raise money for great cause. We love to do it because we are together with friends. But it's not just having fun. It's just make sure we do it right. And she organized it so well that she make it easier for us. Yes, hard work. All the chefs give their time for like mostly their entire Sunday, and they have to do the prep the day before. But I don't think they regret it. At the end of the day, they say, "Wow, we did something good." And so we do table for 10. We do the festival of chef. We do the chef masters, and she create all that. And I also been lucky to be hired as a teacher at Saddleback College. And from that, I'm training young cooks who want to be cooks, who want to be chef. And that's a culinary school was more open to the public who wanted to have a little cooking class. Now it's becoming professional, and so now it's more mentoring there. And I see some of my students, they're growing and growing, and we exchange advisors. They ask me, "Oh, chef, what did you suggest to do this or that?" And I keep in touch with them. It's very important. And then this is why I create also a foundation to give them scholarship. Because not everybody can pay a few $1,000s a year to just going to school and learn a specialty. And so for the table for 10, we give away scholarships, and it's just preparing the next generation to become the new generation of great chefs. And believe me, I can feel Orange County is already in a good place on the food industry, on the culinary industry, but it's going to get bigger and bigger. And it's just a beginning. We're going to grow and show the world that we are not the Orange County culinary destination like before. We are the destination.
Wow. I love it.
Well, we're excited to be part of that. The Let's Chop It Up Food Podcast. We're honored, Chef, that you gave us your time to interview with us. Just to see all that you've done for Orange County, all that you continue to do for Orange County as an amazing mentor. Thank you, Chef, sincerely for your time.
And if anybody want to reach out to me for any question, you can do it.
Open door policy.
Open kitchen.
Open kitchen. I love that.
I love it.
And Chef, again, I couldn't thank you so much for everything you've done for me, for my family, and for everything you've done for Orange County. I mean, none of this would have been happening again without you and your big heart. So much love to you. You know, we're always rooting for you. Always, you know, you're the backbone of Orange County.
Well, your success is my reward. Very important.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Well, you want to conclude us with this episode?
No, thank you again for having us at your home, beautiful home. Thank you, Chef Chris, for setting this up with Chef Pascal. We are definitely honored to be able to have this episode with the Let's Chop It Up Food Podcast. We look forward to just featuring the whole Orange County restaurant industry and more. Thank you, Chef.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chef.
Take
You're
care.
welcome.
Bye.
Alrighty.
Bye.